Good Morning Show with Troy Torres is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
What in the heck is it like in Saipan, Tinian, and Rota? Because I'll tell you, here in Guam, at least in the northern part, it is hot. It is only 7 a.m. It's 7:02 a.m. on Friday, July 3, 2026. My name is Troy Torres. Welcome to the Morning News Analysis. This is the Friday News Analysis. And if you're familiar with our show, for all of you, thank you for joining me live on this and watching the replay on our simulcasts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We also have our website, www.kanditnews.com. And we also have a WhatsApp channel where you can search it on channels on WhatsApp on Kandit News. Actually, that's where you'll get the storm updates first. If you go outside, it's hot as hell. Hot. And I think veterans of storms here in the Marianas kind of understand that when we're anticipating a storm and it's just hot and still outside, we normally call it the calm before the storm. We'll talk to Landon Aydlett on the other side of the commercial break about what's in store for us now that we are about 72 hours outside of the event. The event being now Typhoon Bavi, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. This morning at around 5:30, upgraded Bavi to a typhoon at the last reading of the JTWC. It was packing maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. And in my elementary reading of JTWC, the track did not appear to change all that much. But we'll verify that with Landon Aydlett on the other side of the commercial break. While I have a captive audience, I just wanted to show you real quick. I'm going to do this in every show. Klaru.org. That's KLARU.org. It is a website that was put together by Samuel Kim, who has a column on Kandit News called The Commons, and he put this together as a scoreboard of what the candidates believe when it comes to transparency, accountability, and merit in hiring in the government of Guam. And you'll be able to see when you go to this website. This website's for voters, and it provides responses to 8 different questions from the candidates for governor. You'll see this here. 2 of the candidate teams already have answered. The candidates for attorney general, you'll see 1 of the candidates answered, and several of the legislative candidates also have answered these questions. Go to this. It's a great resource for you as a voter. And don't forget that the election is on August 1. Now, I have so many tabs here there we go. All right. On the other side of the commercial break, we will have Landon Aydlett to talk to us about Typhoon Bavi and what we should expect. Stick with us. early birthday, America. It is the 3rd of July, 2026. It's 7:06 a.m. My name is Troy Torres. Welcome to the Friday News Analysis. Of course, all of our coverage for the past several days has been about now Typhoon Bavi. 250 years ago tomorrow, America was founded when the authors, the promulgators of the Declaration of Independence signed it on July 4th, 1776 in Philadelphia. You count 250 years forward, and that's July 4th, 2026. A proud day for our nation. Joining us now is from our nation, from the National Weather Service Guam office, fellow Guamanian Landon Aydlett, to tell us about Typhoon Bavi. Good morning, Landon.
Yeah, good morning. Happy birthday, USA. I think this is an exciting time for the nation celebrating 250 years. Unfortunately, we're going to have to modify our birthday plans and our festivities. And so I hope we can put those off and celebrate appropriately, maybe for our Liberation Day on July 21st.
Well,
It's
I'll tell you
unfortunate.
this, Landon. It's hot. Like I think God, he was like, you know what? Before these guys wake up, I'm just going to shine the sun. Where am I going to put it? And I need it to be extra hot. You know what? Let's go with that place that's really corrupt. Let's go with Guam. What's happening? Why is it so hot?
This is that calm before the storm. We have
Okay,
the
so that's the
subsidence
thing.
environment around the periphery of this now Typhoon Bavi. It's now typhoon with maximum winds of 80 miles per hour. So there's a lot of clear weather. This is something we were anticipating for a while now, that the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday would be great weather conditions, and then it gets very sketchy beyond Saturday night. That is holding very firm and steady moving forward. So this Bavi continues to intensify. James Typhoon Warning Center, the bulletin just a short while ago, said rapid intensification is imminent. Things are coming together. It definitely looks a lot healthier, more prominent on satellite animated loops. This thing is coming together, and now the sky is the limit. How far was this rapid intensification going to go? The big question mark is, how long will this duration be? How rapidly will it intensify? And they're calling for a possible expansion of 75 knots of intensification in the next 48 hours. We're sitting at 80 miles per hour right now, another 75 knots. That's, I think, 95 miles per hour. This is going to be a powerhouse storm. And while we may not feel the brunt of it, while any particular island may not feel the brunt of it, whoever is closest to it, especially if you're going to be sitting under this as a direct landfall, this is going to be a potentially catastrophic hit to any one of our islands. And so the forecast track this morning still sits close to Tinian. It drops about 5 or 10 miles south of where it was 2 o'clock this morning. We're talking about the ultimate passage through the islands. It's been holding steady somewhere between Rota and Saipan since the first bulletin. I forget what day it was, some 36 hours ago. But it can still shift. Can this still affect Guam directly? Absolutely, yes. We are still within that cone of uncertainty that this could make a direct passage over or very close to Guam. So do not let your guard down. If that happens, if this forecast track shifts to the south, then we could have a potential devastating situation on our hands, and think of the tune of Mawar, if not worse. And so we have to keep that in the back of our minds. 2 to 3 days out, that is a possibility.
So I'm looking at Joint Typhoon Warning Center's warning number 8 right now, and it's showing that it has been moving since yesterday. It has been moving generally west with a little bit of a northward shift. That would slow down to 12 knots per hour, but which is still kind of fast, right? That's a good sign. Is that a good sign?
Yeah, that's a good sign. It's definitely moving along, but they do anticipate it to slow down just a little bit as the steering influences shift from one subtropical ridge to another one. And that's going to reinforce more of a westward push. So if you look at the latest track, it turns westward, and that turn's going to happen today. Now, the other big question is, if this doesn't turn as soon as they plan it would, it could shift farther north. But if it turns sooner or stays on a westward track longer than currently forecast, the overall track through the islands would shift a little bit south of where it currently is. That would be bad news for us. And this is why we're still within that cone of uncertainty. 2 to 3 days out, a lot of stuff can still happen. And think of Sinlaku. That track went from a Guam passage to a Saipan passage within a 24-hour period of changes.
Well,
These changes do occur.
that's what I wanted to bring up. Sorry about that. That was a little
Mhm.
interruption. So that's what I wanted to bring up. We are still, are we still outside of 72 hours from the event? We're still looking at Monday.
Yeah, we're still looking at a CPA of Monday morning, but the onsetting conditions, we're still ballparking Sunday evening, early Sunday night. So we are coming up, I would say, I don't have my glasses on, I don't do math, but I think we're sitting about 60, 65 hours out from onsetting conditions.
Well,
So we're still very early in the game.
you know, I'm looking at it, right? And I'm looking at what Joint Typhoon Warning Center is saying, and 48 hours from 7 a.m. This morning. So it's about 7 a.m. On Sunday morning. Joint Typhoon Warning Center is showing that Bavi sits just about 5 degrees east of Guam, 13.3 north, 149.9 east, as an enormous, extremely strong super typhoon. It's 140 knots, which, if I'm not mistaken, is somewhere close to 180 miles per hour. Would that be correct?
We're looking at 160 miles per hour. Let me look at the graphic again. Yeah, we're looking at 140 knots. This is about 160 miles per hour. So 145 is 165. Yeah, so it's going to be up there in the category in the super typhoon range of options. And whether it's 155 or 160, I'm sure most people won't be able to tell the difference.
With the center of the storm being 5 degrees east of Guam, would that mean that we would be feeling something quite a bit come Sunday morning?
That's a possibility. Some of their probabilistic charts show that earliest reasonable time of arrival of tropical storm force winds could be as early as Sunday morning. And so that's what we're going to be looking at very closely as we go through another 24, 36 hours as it nears.
Okay.
And so we have the earliest reasonable based on the probabilistic, the most likely available. And we're looking at Sunday evening for the most likely scenarios. But the banding, these rain bands where they set up, that's going to be a factor and a feature in our Sunday plans. And so our rule of thumb is that all plans, preparedness actions and stuff should be complete by Sunday evening.
And then at 72 hours out, so basically 7 a.m. on Monday, it's showing that Bavi will be at 14.6 north, 146.2 east at 140 knots, or that's, again, a super typhoon of 160 miles per hour. That's an approach right through the channel between Rota and Tinian, right? That's where those coordinates are.
And so the forecasts over the last 36 hours have been hugging right in that channel. Very remarkably steady, but some of the forecast models have been shifting a little bit southward, and that could be under the influence of the subtropical ridge, which remains a big question mark. How strong will that ridge be? Will it even push it a little west-southwestward? If this thing goes from a west motion the next day or so to the west-southwest, that could bring it closer to Guam.
Not that we should be married to this, but I'm curious because I haven't checked it. What does Google DeepMind say? Where is their track going?
Yeah, Google DeepMind, I was looking through some of those AI models early this morning, and it looks like it's been, depending on the one you're looking at, they go west, maybe a little bit south of due west, which is concerning, but then they do an eventual turn to the west-northwest, tracking close to Rota. So again, this is all well within the range of possibilities. And when you're sitting 60 hours out, a matter of 5 miles one way or the other is a very tight margin. Realistically, you could see shifts much broader than that. And so this is why I'm saying this is a grim situation for all of us. We have to take this very seriously.
Yeah, when you look at what Joint Typhoon Warning Center is showing, this thing is going to continue traveling west for the next couple of days before it makes its turn north. I'm reading that correctly, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And so that's the...
And it's going to slow down. It's going to slow down tomorrow.
A little bit. Yeah, it's going to slow down a little bit, but we're still looking at a passage to the islands around 10 to 12 miles per hour. But with that forecast said, this is not a slam dunk forecast. This is not a guarantee. I'll be sending an email out stating exactly that. What you're seeing right now is not guaranteed to happen at 60 hours in advance. This is a forecast, and we're going to see those shifts and changes every 6 hours moving forward. Now, which way and how much will it shift and change?
And the important
This
thing
is why we got
to
to take it
remind
serious.
people is just how much things changed in the 36 hours preceding
Oh,
Suwapu.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we saw that with Mawar. In a period of 6 hours, we were going from a southern Guam expected hit to a northern Guam expected hit.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And
I
that was
remember
in
that.
6 hours. That's 20 miles difference in 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah, and communications went down, which made things
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy. I remember people when communications were still up in the north asking what in the world was going on in the south because the north was getting battered. So everyone thought that the
Yeah.
south was getting destroyed, but everyone in the south was like, "Hey, I thought we were gonna get a really bad typhoon. What happened?"
Yeah, that's exactly it, and that happens.
Yeah.
And so the South should be screaming, jumping up and down with excitement, and that they were spared because they could easily go the other way.
Melvin and Candice Belahaja in the comments says, Troy, it looks like we have an invest behind Bavi. Is that something we should also be concerned about?
I have not got up to speed on any new invests. I know people were getting mixed up. There's a 97P. That's in the South Pacific near the Solomons. Anything in the Solomons will not affect us. But that's in the Southern Hemisphere.
Okay.
First off, that's not going to come our way. If it was closer to the equator, and if our Bobby was closer to the equator, sometimes we get these twin cyclones. You get a burst of west winds along the equator. You get a cyclone to the north, cyclone to the south, and they can kind of influence the overall dynamics across the Pacific, ushering maybe intensification of the El Nino and the westward push of winds and waves and water. But that's not going to be the case with this one. It should be well south and too weak to influence our Bavi, which is going to have its own cocoon, as the Joint Typhoon Warning Center said yesterday morning.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. All right, so
Yep.
The message today has not changed. Then it's all the residents of all four of the islands. It's Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. Prepare for the possibility of a direct hit of a super typhoon.
Yep, our prognosis is remaining rock hard steady for now 3 days. Everyone should plan for and anticipate tropical storm force conditions, but whoever is closest could see potentially catastrophic conditions with a super typhoon passing over or nearby, and that remains a possibility for all four islands.
So yesterday I think was the term you used was grim, was the most grim of your prognosis or I'm sorry, of your forecasts since this entire event, and it was that there was the possibility that Bavi at the strength of 180 miles per hour can sit over one of our islands. Is that still a possibility? 180 miles per hour?
I'm not seeing much indication of that, but when rapid intensification occurs, the question is, how rapidly does it intensify? We've seen some very rapid ones, like Super Typhoon Hagibis as it was approaching Anatahan in 2018. I think that holds the record for the fastest intensification. I forget what the metrics were, but it was significant. The matter of how fast it intensifies and how long that duration. If this duration of rapid intensification is longer than it's currently forecast, we can see those intensities come up just a little bit in the overall track and philosophy. So we have to keep that in the back of our minds. And so that is a concern. But naturally, 160 miles per hour sitting over any island is going to be devastating, and 180 miles per hour would be worse. But I guarantee you, if you're standing outside in the winds, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between 160 and 180, and you better not be standing outside in the first place.
Well, let's talk about that, the strength of a storm, right? If there's 160 mile per hour maximum sustained winds where you're at, if you are not that heavy of a person, you're gonna fly away, right? That's
yeah. If you are that heavy a person, you're going to probably fly away and have problems.
Well, we've seen in the past typhoons that have turned over cars, so I guess people can. I mean, I've never gone outside in a strong typhoon, so I'm not. I don't know how that works, but so that's the importance of taking stuff out of your yard and making sure it's all secured, and also your pets as well. But what about things like windows at 160 miles per hour? If you have people call it.
Make sure you have shutters. I know a lot of windows are rated for stronger storms. I know the Governor's Complex renovated their facilities and had some really nice windows installed. I think early 2023.
Yeah,
and I
but
really want to get their
those are
contractor.
very expensive windows though. That's like I
And
don't think the
I
regular
want to get
resident.
their contractor and do
Yeah.
my house like that because as I spoke with the governor after Mawar, she says we had no shutters on the windows of the complex, and they all did fine. And my gosh, I would love to have windows like that on my house, tinted, reflective, UV protection, and
But
everything else.
but
Holy
but
heck! But
but the regular residential
typhoon
windows,
shutters.
it's typhoon shutters, right?
Yeah, you definitely want typhoon shutters. And keep in mind when you're dealing with super typhoon force winds, uh, you don't want to be near those windows because debris can come punching through those shutters. And we've seen that time after time. 2x4s and other debris can come barreling through those shutters. It's a good wind protection, and especially from other general debris. But in extreme situations, those shutters can be punctured and compromised.
Yeah. And where should you park your car? I mean, is a garage like a wind tunnel? Will it attract stuff?
Well, it depends on the wind direction. I usually try to keep my cars on the lee side of the house and park them as close as possible.
What's a
Prior
lee?
to
What
Mawar,
that's the east side of the house?
the lee side, so not on the windward side, but on the lee side. So that really depends on the storm's passage and track, where those winds going to be passing and changing to.
Can you
When
tell
we
us
were
that
dealing with some,
can you make sure you tell us that ahead of time so we know where to park our
yeah,
cars?
yeah, and we'll try to keep that in mind, especially for the northern part. If this thing passes over Saipan and Tinian, think back to the winds of Senlaku and Mawar, we're going to have fairly similar. But when Mawar happens, we have a wide open parking lot in my office, and we have a lot of cars. And I did not know how to park the cars and what to suggest while acting in charge. I contacted the Hurricane Center and our regional headquarters. And I said, "What are your recommendations?" They like, "Well, we don't know what to recommend." I was like, "Y'all, this is your wheelhouse." So I had all the staff back the cars across the parking lot away from the building, and we parked every car one by one from one end of the parking lot, and we had the rear view side view mirrors touching, if not closer, had the cars that close to each other one by one. That way we can minimize the damage in any cars that would flip over. And actually, we only had one car that had some damage. It was on the far end of it when a solar panel from the FAA facility punctured the front of the car. Otherwise, every other vehicle was untouched, unscathed, no damage.
Gosh, that's so smart.
It worked well.
Okay, okay. Well, yeah, please give us that advice when we get a little closer to this thing. And you know, the advice carries for any of our islands because our viewers are from all four of the islands. So
Mm-hmm.
just let us know, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. There's because in Sinlaku, I was told there was a whole lot of car damage that was going on there. Um,
Yeah.
so Georgia Areola has a great question.
Mm-hmm.
When will NWS know exactly where the typhoon will hit?
It depends when I get a discount on those water filters. I'm just kidding.
Is that
I'm
where
just kidding.
Does Georgia Areola sell water filters?
Yeah, I think she's. Correct me if I'm wrong, Georgia. You're American Water Tech. She and I chat often,
Oh,
and
okay.
kudos to the services there. But yeah, this thing's going to be evolving over the next 2 days. So realistically, we're not going to have a really good feel for which island's going to feel what until we're realistically 24 to 36 hours out. That's why our watches, we issue typhoon tropical storm watches 48 hours in advance, and that just means those possibilities are there. The warnings are issued 24 hours in advance, and that's more for expectations. So we're going to have a lot more resolution as we move forward through the next 12 to 36 hours, and then we'll have a better idea for how things are going to evolve. But again, that subtropical ridge to the north, this period of rapid intensification, and that period of westward motion, those are the three big wild cards moving forward as to what and when and where.
I cannot express enough how important it is for the people of our islands to be following the news, uh, especially in the 48 hours preceding the event, and
Mm-hmm.
in the hours afterward. Um,
Yeah.
and the importance of staying off of the roads as soon as the weather becomes inclement and heavy because of the need for emergency vehicles to be able to pass through. Of course, for your personal safety, because things will be flying around, power lines might snap, poles might snap, trees and branches might be on the road, and it just becomes a dangerous situation in the hours preceding and especially in the hours after an event like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So these are all things to keep in mind, and stay tuned to weather weather.gov/GUM/cyclones, because we're going to have all the most up-to-date information, forecast tracks, and plots and graphics on that page. Otherwise, all forecasts, you can find them on our web, weather.gov/GUM.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Is there anything else that that you'd like to add? What's our takeaway, Landon? Aside from continue to pay attention to news.
I like Kona coffee, Vietnamese coffee, any kind of strong coffee blend for the next 6 days.
Got it. Okay.
But the takeaway, this remains a serious threat. Don't focus all your hopes and expectations on the current track at hand. We have 2.5, 3 days of things to shift and change. And this could still pass close to, if not over top of Guam. So watch this closely, stay tuned, and maximize your preparedness moving forward.
But is the emphasis on Guam, or are you making the emphasis on Guam in this because this is because we're talking here on Guam, or is it also?
Yes.
Okay. So
the emphasis is for all islands, but
any of our
islands. It's for all of our islands, correct?
Okay. So emphasize that we should emphasize that this could still be a direct hit over Guam, Rota, Tinian, or Saipan.
Correct. We're keeping this as a one Mariana solution. We still got a lot of range of possibilities, so we're treating everybody even at this time.
Okay, and the next update is from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is at 2 p.m. Is that correct?
That'll be 2 p.m. Yes.
2 p.m. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Landon. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
God bless
absolutely.
You.
God bless.
Have a good day. Talk to you later. Oh, and don't forget we have. You know what? Could we have our? Never mind. I'll chat with you off the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Right. That was Landon Aydlett with the National Weather Service Guam office, and the key takeaway. A couple of key takeaways. One is, this thing did not go away overnight. The forecast actually has it stronger and has it on track for how it's been moving the past several days. But there is the issue of the subtropical ridge and how it affects the movement of Bavi, and it's currently projected over the next couple of days to continue moving west, which is in the general direction of Rota and Guam, before making a turn to the north. But how that plays out depends on the subtropical ridge. And so that's why it's really any of our islands that could be facing a direct hit come sometime Monday morning. And that's the second and probably the greatest key takeaway here is all of us in Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan need to be preparing ourselves for the possibility that a strong typhoon, probably maybe a super typhoon, will be barreling through one of our islands. The other thing that I guess there's a third key takeaway here is where the center of the storm goes. And so, for Guam, which is 32 miles long, the center of storm passage on the southern tip of Guam will be the people in the south will feel things differently than the people in the north will. Landon Aydlett reminding us that with Mawar, the passage went through the north and it was much stronger in the north than it was in the south, and it's because of the distance from the eye of the storm and where the most destructive winds and rains are concentrated. Anyway, so we will have another update for you this afternoon from Landon Aydlett at the National Weather Service Guam office throughout today. Whenever significant changes happen, we will put out a storm update. I think we're up to number 11, if I'm not mistaken. So the next one would be storm update number 12. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. I want to thank you all so much for choosing Kandit to get your latest news, especially when it comes to the weather. God bless you all, and see you later today. Bye.
Auto Spot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam Auto Spot, where the savings never stop.
This stuff's hitting the spot.